Listening to the Jake Asman Show on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
Not in the playoffs the last 10 years. That's never happened before. A team making the finals after missing the playoffs for 10 years or more. Paul putting on the finishing touches. What a performance from Chris Paul. 41 points. He has waited his entire career to make the finals. In his 16th year, at age 36, he will play for the NBA championship starting next week.
Mike Breen on ESPN last night, summing it all up. The Suns beat the Clippers 130-103, the final score. They win the series 4-2, and they're headed to the NBA Finals for the first time since Charles Barkley took them there back in 1993. Chris Paul has already proved in his career he's one of the all-time greats, but you can make the case that last night was the greatest game in his NBA career. Think about it. He's 36 years old, and in a clinching game on the road, he goes out there and scores 41 points after his team had a brutal loss in Game 5 at home. Your best player has to come out and play like that, and Chris Paul, at age 36, is still the Suns' best player. Booker's the better, scorer. Booker, is going to be, higher up on the rankings, but when the game's on the line, and you need someone to make a play, the guy you want with the ball is Chris Paul. And he proved it last night. 41 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 7 3-pointers. To me, that's the greatest game of his legendary career. Best game of his life. 31 points in the second half. His most ever in any half. Just amazing. And I couldn't be happier for Chris Paul because Chris Paul has been on some really good teams that have come up short. Chris Paul has never done the old, let me chase a ring and team up with superstars. Chris Paul is an old school throwback type guy. He holds guys accountable. He gets into your face. He's probably the closest player we have to that like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan mentality that's still playing. Like Chris Paul is not there to be your friend. He's there to win. Teammates either love him or you're James Harden and you can't get along with him. And that to me says more about James Harden than it does Chris Paul now. And now think about this. Chris Paul is likely winning a ring before James Harden. Poetic justice, if you ask me. Chris Paul has already proved he's one of the all-time greats, but last night was, I believe, the greatest game of his career. I mean, just phenomenal. That mid-range was just ridiculous in the second half. Chris Paul, I love the way he plays, man. I don't like the flopping stuff, but you know what? That guy's a gamer. And Pat Beverly's a punk, by the way. We'll get to him. I mean, he should be suspended for multiple games next year for just the blindside shove to Chris Paul in the back. What a punk. Lost a ton of respect for Patrick Beverly last night. But this Suns team really has had all the ingredients of a championship caliber team. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and then you add Chris Paul to the mix, who elevates any team he's ever been on. It's the perfect mix. And at age 36, Chris Paul finally gets to go to the NBA Finals. And his team will be a favorite when they get there, regardless of who they play. It's a great story. When Chris Paul got dealt to the Oklahoma City Thunder, when the Rockets jettisoned him for Russell Westbrook, it felt like it was over for Chris Paul. That he was going to finish his career with the Thunder. He got 3 years left on his deal. It just felt like he was going to kind of be in, basketball Siberia, playing on a team that was not going to make the playoffs. And, that was really going to be it for him. But he took that team to the playoffs a year ago, pushed the Rockets of all teams to 7 games, and then had the opportunity to go to Phoenix. And it has worked out about as well as it could possibly work out for him since he got there. He's been sensational. This was Chris Paul after the game last night on finally going to the NBA Finals.
Man, I'm just so happy for all the people around me. You know what I mean? And to do it here in L.A. with the Clippers, this is my family too. I gave 6 hard years to the Clippers. We fought hard. A lot of these fans, Billy Crystal, that's my family. You know what I mean? So to do it here against a team that I got the utmost respect for. I'll always be a Clipper. I love these fans. You know what I mean? But this crew right here, this game right here, man, since day one, they opened me, they welcomed me with open arms. Coach, we did this 10 years ago in New Orleans, and we still got a lot of work to do, but we're going to enjoy this.
So that's Chris Paul, obviously very happy after the game. Here's my question when I listen to that, though. How many guys on the Phoenix Suns even know who Billy Crystal is? Besides Chris Paul, does any other player know who Billy Crystal is? My guess would be no. Devin Booker's 24 years old. Does he know who Billy Crystal is? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe he's seen Monsters, Inc., but I don't know if he's seen City Slickers. I don't know if he's seen a lot of Billy Crystal's movies there. Kind of shows you the age gap between Chris Paul and his teammates when you hear him shouting out Billy Crystal, Mr. Clippers fan himself, despite the fact he's from New York and is a big Yankee fan. Never made
You didn't go Princess Bride?
You could go Princess Bride there.
A lot of people have seen that one.
Is that your favorite Billy Crystal movie they run?
Probably.
I am a Monsters, Inc. guy. How come they never made a Monsters, Inc. 2 on a side note?
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, Monsters University.
Oh. Was it the same cast of characters?
Yep.
I did not know that.
It's actually a prequel.
Oh, is it? Well, how come
Shows
they never...
how Mike and Sully became friends.
I did not realize that. Why didn't they do a number 2?
They will be.
Are they working on it?
I don't know if they're going to go movie. I think they're going TV series.
Okay. I mean, they got to
on
do
Disney
something.
Plus.
I'm a City Slickers kind of guy. What do you think? You're a City Slicker guy?
No, I like that. That movie was fantastic too. But I mean, everything he was in is almost gold.
Well, let me tell you.
He's the redeeming quality to the Tooth Fairy.
Hey, it's true. When Billy Crystal wears the Met hat in City Slickers, he's a fraud. I'm just throwing that out there. Billy Crystal
He should have went Ben Affleck, right?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Affleck compromised and wore the Met hat because he wouldn't wear the Yankee hat. And Gone Girl, which I watched for the first time.
Ben Affleck held up 3 days of filming.
Yes, he did.
Because of that.
Yes, he did.
And then the consensus was put on a Met hat, and he was fine with that.
Yeah, he compromised. I'm like, all right. And I told you at the time when we talked about it, I respect Ben Affleck for that move.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing. I will say this, though, about Chris Paul. How do you think he's feeling deep down inside? That the Rockets are the worst team in the league. James Harden got eliminated in the second round. And here's Chris Paul going to the NBA Finals. That has got to be the ultimate feeling. Like, Chris Paul is a very vindictive dude. So for him to go out there and have this type of year with everything that's gone on around him, man, that's got to be a great feeling. And then there's the storyline of Monty Williams. Monty Williams coached Chris Paul 10 years ago in New Orleans. Monty Williams nearly won the Coach of the Year award this year. He's been sensational leading the Suns team. It's a storybook type of feel with the Suns right now. This was Monty Williams after the game.
We haven't won the championship that we want to win, but to see it come together like this, for Chris to be able to come back here, Randy and I and Willie Green were together with him in New Orleans. And, he left and we stayed in contact. Randy and Chris stayed in contact. We were all still tight. And for us to get back together again and do this, like, how do you put that into words? You're just like watching it from afar. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're in it, you're just kind of watching it like, wow, this is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And the Suns are going to be significant favorites over the Bucks if Giannis is still banged up, or the Hawks, depending on the status of Trae Young. And even if Trae Young's Trae Young, I mean, you can't even compare the talent between the Suns and the Hawks, barring injury. And you have to say that because look what's happened during these playoffs. Suns have a great chance here to win the finals. They really do. To me, they're the best team left, especially now with the Giannis injury. As far as the Giannis injury, we know this. There's no structural damage to the injured knee. But the Bucks told you yesterday that they're not sure when he can come back. He's not playing tonight. So if he isn't playing game 5, is he playing in game 6? Is he going to play in a potential game 7 if we get there? I don't know. So either the Suns play a banged-up Bucks team, because there's no way Giannis will be 100%, or they're playing a Hawks team that despite Trae Young's brilliance, we'll see what his status is for later. Despite Trae Young's brilliance, I don't think they have enough to go toe-to-toe in a best-of-7 with the Suns. I just don't. So this is Chris Paul's maybe final chance to win a title. He's finally going to the finals, but this is probably his last chance to win a championship because you don't know what's going to happen next year. He'll be 37 years old. Obviously, a lot of teams that had injuries to their star players, they'll be back next year. Everything kind of came together for the Suns. They're certainly an excellent team, but we also have to point out that round 1, Anthony Davis gets hurt, changes the whole complexion of that series. Round 2, they face a Nuggets team without Jamal Murray. Round 3, they face a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard. For most of the games, obviously. Actually, all the games. Kawhi got hurt at the end of the Utah series. So that has to be pointed out. I don't want to take anything away from the Suns, though. They've been a great team. They were the second best team in the NBA record-wise this year. And CP3's had a sensational season, and he's still a great player. 41 points last night. Unbelievable. But this has got to be the year the Suns win it all. You come this close, you finally go to the finals. Got to break that glass ceiling now. Finish the job. 800-224-2004 is the number if you want to weigh in. Was last night the greatest performance in the Hall of Fame career of Chris Paul? Your thoughts on that? You could call in, talk NBA playoffs, or you could write on Twitch or Facebook your comments, and we will read the best responses over the air. Before we go to break, I have to get to something. My brother's texting me, dude, you're an idiot. That's terrible. How did you not know about Monsters, Inc. having a sequel? Is it that significant of an error? I mean, I didn't know like they had a sequel. I don't know where I was when it happened. I saw Monsters, Inc., great film, but no one even talks about the sequel to Monsters, Inc. It's not like it's Toy Story 2.
It's not a sequel. It's a prequel.
It was even further.
The second movie. It's been out for a couple of years, Jake.
And you know what? It probably wasn't that good then.
No, it's actually not too bad.
Your kids liked it, the Culver family?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
been having a steady diet lately of Monster Inc., Monster University movies with the 4, almost 5-year-old.
Billy Crystal, big in the Culver household?
Not so much as Mike Wazowski and Sully.
Okay. More coming up. We have to get to what was one of the worst losses the Yankees have ever had. Certainly, if this is not rock bottom for this team, I mean, God help us. That's what I'll say as a Yankee fan. And as I'm talking, I just got a text in my Yankee group chat from someone that just woke up. They bleeping lost last night? ? Yes. 1:00 in the morning on the East Coast. Aroldis Chapman was busy blowing a 4-run lead in the 9th inning. We get to all that next here on the Jake Asman Show.
Sports Map all night.
Just breaking the Kansas